What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Salman here, back with another video, and today we'll be doing my top 10 running backs in the NFL here. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. It's free. I'm really trying to hit 400 before the school year starts. I really would appreciate it, guys. It would help me out so much. And make sure to like and comment any recommendations down below. For real, though, make sure to sub. Also, CC the videos because we are doing every single position group before the NFL starts. We've already done quarterbacks and receivers. And next, we're doing running backs in this video. Comment down below what position group you want to see next, because I love making these videos for y'all. But in this video, we will be going over my top 10 running backs, and I'll be giving you guys my insight on it, like my list, and I'll be giving you guys what I think they'll be doing in the fantasy seasons for you guys, what guys you guys should draft, maybe some guys you should avoid. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty good video in my opinion, so you guys definitely will want to see who's at number 1, and you guys will definitely want to watch the whole video. But anyway, we're going to get straight into the video now with my honorable mentions here. I have Travis Etienne, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker, and Kyren Williams. They are all great running backs. It's just this list is a very, top 10, so it's really tough to get down to those spots. Those guys are definitely on the bubble. Etienne, I'm really excited to see this year. Definitely excited to see. Aaron Jones is a guy that's, he's a new offense. It's going to be very interesting to see for him too. But at this number 10 spot, we have Raheem Mostert of the Miami Dolphins. Raheem's a very interesting player because at 32 years old, he bursted onto the scene. He ended up having 18 touchdowns last year and 1,000 yards. He has a problem with fumbling, man. He had 4 fumbles last year, but besides that, he's the complete package. He's aging like fine wine. He played in 15 games, had 209 attempts. He averaged 4.8 yards per carry, and he also added 175 yards receiving on 25 catches, which that's actually a pretty good average of 7 yards. Raheem Mostert had a really good year for the Dolphins. It's going to be really interesting to see how they use him in this upcoming year, especially after they drafted a running back out of Tennessee, and they have Devin Achane. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Dolphins do. I'm very excited to see what they do with Raheem Mostert, and I think that he is going to trend upwards, honestly. I think the Dolphins' ground game is very underrated. Coming in at this number 9 spot, we have Jahmyr Gibbs. My bad for butchering it a little, but Jahmyr Gibbs definitely should have a great year this year. The only reason I have him ranked this low is honestly because of last year. He ran for 945 yards, which was absolutely fantastic. He received 316, which was a little of a letdown, as he was supposed to be like an Alvin Kamara. But again, it was only his rookie year, and I think next year he's going to have an absolute year. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to break out, and I'm really excited to see what he can do. He's definitely a guy that's going to be drafted in the first 2 rounds of my fantasy football league. And he's a very exciting player. He's very fast. You can definitely see his breakaway speed. And the Lions' offensive line is very good. He's going into a good system with Ben Johnson as his offensive coordinator. And the Lions are a team that looks like they can contend for a Super Bowl. So that's why he's definitely a guy you'll want to grab in your fantasy football leagues. And he's also just a great player overall. And he's going to have a tremendous year. Last year, Josh Jacobs ran for 800 yards. A very disappointing year for him. He did suffer a lot of injuries. And that has been a theme of his career. He's only played in every game in 1 year. And that year he was absolutely dominant with the Las Vegas Raiders, rushing for almost 1,700 yards and 12 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs is an absolute dog when he is healthy, though. He's a very dynamic player that's actually a very underrated receiver out of the backfield. In his best year, he had 400 yards receiving. So he's a very diverse running back. And I think that he's going to fit in quite well with this Packers offense. Jordan Love, is a very promising quarterback in my opinion. I think Jordan Love is borderline top 10, like I said in my top 10 video, and he is going to absolutely feed him. As you see with what they did with Aaron Jones, I think that Josh Jacobs will fit that role, and he'll be a better traditional running back than Aaron Jones, which is really going to open it up for the Packers offense. He's definitely a guy I would draft in my fantasy football league. He has always struggled with fumbles, though, coughing the ball up 3 times his last 2 seasons. Luckily, though, they've only lost 1 of those in those last 2 years. But Josh Jacobs, man, he has great breakaway ability. He's a very shifty fast back, but he also can put his shoulder down and run someone over. He's a great running back, man, and I'm really excited to see what he'll be able to do in this Packers offense. It's going to be absolutely electric. At this number 7 spot, we have Nick Chubb, man. Nick Chubb, and he just suffered an unfortunate injury last year, which really hurt to see because Nick Chubb has been one of the best running backs in the NFL ever since he became into the league. His rookie year, he almost ran for 1,000 yards, 4 yards short. And every single year he's ran for 1,000 yards. And in 2022, he actually had his best year rushing for 1,500 yards. And then last year, man, his knee just unfortunately gave out, which was just disgusting to watch. I felt so bad. I think he was really going to have a great year last year too. But honestly, I believe in Nick Chubb, and I think he'll have a bounce back year, man. I think he'll show what he did in 2022, where he played in every single game and ran for 1,500 yards with 12 touchdowns. Nick Chubb is a very good power back who also has a lot of speed. He can run up the middle. He definitely has a pretty good offensive line behind Wyatt Teller and Joel. I'm not even going to say his last name. That shit's hard to say. But they together have one of the best, interior offensive lines in the NFL. And Nick Chubb takes advantage of it, man. Kevin Stefanski has a good offense. And they overall are a pretty good team when Nick Chubb is playing. I will say that. But Nick Chubb's going to come in at this number 7 spot. He's a guy that, I would be cautious to draft because, the injuries. But honestly, if he is himself, Nick Chubb is just an absolute dog. And I have to have him on this list. Coming in at this number 6 spot, we have Breece Hall. Breece Hall in his first 2 years has been all right. Last year he ran for 994 yards. In his rookie year, he ran for 463, but he only played in 7 games that year. Overall, I'm expecting a big breakout year for Breece Hall. Breece Hall will have Aaron Rodgers now, which will take a lot of pressure off them because with Zach Wilson, let's be honest, we all knew what Zach Wilson was going on there. It was not very good, y'all. It was not very good. And honestly, I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to open up this offense a lot. The Jets' offensive line is improved, and I think Breece Hall is poised for a breakout year. He also did have 591 receiving yards last year, which is pretty good in my opinion. But you guys can see it when you watch the games. Breece Hall is different. He's a very explosive back, and he's very dynamic. I keep saying it, but I think that Breece Hall will be a first-round pick in fantasy football for most y'all, and I think that if you guys are lucky enough to get him, that he will make an impact on your team. I think he's a great running back, and he has a great potential. He has potential to be the best running back in the league this year. And I'm not even saying that. I haven't said that for anyone else so far, but he has potential to be the best running back in the league this upcoming year, and I'm really confident he will at least be top 5. To be honest, I think he'll break onto the scene, and I think he'd be a guy that runs for 1,500 yards and really helps his Jets offense diversify and have a multi-threat, because we already know what the Jets have. They have Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, and you have a guy like Breece Hall that can just open up the run game, open up play actions, open up fly routes. It's really going to help them out, and I think that he's going to have a great impact on the Jets this year, and that's why he's at this number 6 spot, baby. Coming in at number 5, we have Saquon Barkley, the Philadelphia Eagles. That's so fucking weird. That's like actually joining the Bloods from like the Crips. That's like saying, nah, I'm switching teams, bro, to the game leader. That shit's crazy to me. But last year in 14 games, he ran for 962 yards. He definitely would have hit 1,000 if he would have played in all of them. And the year before, he ran for 1,300 yards. The years before that, he was hurt. But Saquon, man, he has had an impressive career so far. He's definitely a guy that is very athletic, and you could see that. And you could see his ability, but, he gets injured a lot. And, the team he was on was not the best. But now he's going to a run-heavy team with a run-heavy quarterback, with just a run-heavy offense in general. And I feel like that's going to favor to him. I feel like he's going to be a lot better on this team. He's not going to be in the mess of an organization called the New York Giants, which I think will help him. And I think he'll have one of the best seasons of his career next year. Honestly, I really have a lot of faith in Saquon. And I'm really excited to see what he does in Philadelphia, honestly. It's going to be insane to see him play the Giants for the first time, I will say. But I think Saquon has the ability to definitely show out this year. He is 27, so he is hitting like that older age for running backs. He's been in the league for about 6 years now, which is actually crazy to think about. But I believe in Saquon. I think he'll have a good year for the Philadelphia Eagles. Sorry, that's just so weird to say. Coming in at this number 4 spot, we have Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons. Bijan Robinson definitely is going to break out this year. There is no way he does not. He's not being held back by Arthur Smith anymore. Last year, oh my gosh, I had Bijan in fantasy, and I don't even want to get started on what happened. He played in 17 games, which is every single game, ran for 976 yards, and he started in 16. You guys know what happened in Tampa. He actually cost me my fantasy game. That shit pissed me off. But besides that, he's not going to have that fuck-ass coach Arthur Smith anymore, which means this offense can be very exciting, and I think he has potential to break out this year. He is just going to dominate, I feel like. I feel like he's one of the best running backs in the NFL. Last year, he showed his ability, and, he had 487 yards receiving. He may have the chance to do 1,000, honestly. I think that the Rams, one of the old Rams coaches is their offensive coordinator. He's from the Raheem Morris tree, and I think that, or not the Raheem Morris, Sean McVay. Raheem Morris brought him over there. But I think that they are just going to kill it over there, and I think that offense is going to be really fun to watch. Kirk Cousins is going to throw on the ball, and I think that he's just such a dynamic weapon, and he is a must-draft in fantasy. I do not care. Bijan is a dog. He's going to have a great year, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. I said with everyone, but this guy has potential to be the number one back in the league easily. I would not doubt it if he can become Offensive Player of the Year. He's young. He has not a lot of tread on his wheels. Last year, he didn't get, crazy amount of carries. He got 214, had a long summer, and I really think that Bijan has potential to just absolutely take over the league next year for the Falcons. He also has Tyler Algier in the backfield with him, who's also a great back, but I think Bijan's going to get a load of the carries here. Coming in at this next spot, we have the man, Jonathan Taylor, at this number 3 spot. He's an absolute dog, man. In his best year, he ran for 1,800 yards. And honestly, that year is absolutely amazing. But the last 2 years, he has failed to replicate that. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. How am I going to college? But he has played in about 21 games over the last 2 years. So he has missed a pretty good amount of games. And he's been injured, but when he plays, he's an absolute dog. Last year, he ran for 4.4 yards per carry for 741 yards in 10 games. He only started 7 of those, and he averaged 74 yards a game with 7 touchdowns. He's pretty good, and I have him at this number 3 spot because I really think that the Colts, man, are going to be a fun team next year with Anthony Richardson. I really think that's going to open up the offense for JT, and I really think JT is going to break out again. I really think he has a chance to replicate that crazy season he had in 2021. But JT, man, it's going to be interesting because if he can't stay healthy, we know how good he is. He has to stay healthy, man. If he doesn't stay healthy, it's not going to happen. And if he doesn't stay healthy this year, it starts to be concerned, about his injuries and everything, and if he can stay healthy for a season. But man, I'm really excited to see what Jonathan Taylor can do. I think that offensive line's great. I think that their system they have with Shane Steichen or whatever the fuck his name is from the Eagles. He was the Eagles offensive coordinator. Now he's their head coach. I really think that they have potential to just absolutely bust on the scene and, have a great, one of the best running games in all of football next year. Next, we have the man, Derrick Henry. Oh my gosh, Derrick Henry's an absolute dog, man. Absolute stud. And now he's going to be on the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson. That is just unfair because it's going to open up the season. It's going to open up so much for Lamar throwing the ball. That's going to be absolutely ridiculous. Teams are not going to be able to stack the box either for Derrick Henry. So Derrick Henry, I think, will have a great year next year. Last year, he ran for 1,167 yards and 280 carries, which for Derrick Henry, it was a solid year. You know what I mean? 17 games. He had a young offensive line in front of him, a rookie quarterback, so they were able to stack the box. He had 12 touchdowns last year, though, and also caught for 214 yards. But Derrick Henry, man, he's just a beast, man. His best year, he ran for 2,000 yards in 16 games in 2020 with the Titans. And, it's disappointing to see him leave Tennessee because he's had such a great career there. But at the end of the day, all good things must come to the end. And it had to come to the end. But it's going to be exciting to see his next chapter in Baltimore. I think that he has a chance to really come back and have his last great year because he is getting older. He is 30 years old. So the clock is ticking on Derrick Henry's career, especially as a running back, man. That goes so fast. But I think that he has a chance to have 1 or 2 more good years in Baltimore. And I think that if he's able to do that, he will definitely cement his place in NFL history as one of the best running backs of all time. Alright guys, you guys know who's going to be at this number 1 spot. It had to be Christian McCaffrey, guys. Christian McCaffrey's an absolute beast. Man, I mean, he did go through the injury bug. He played 16 games to start off his career. Then he went 3-7, 2020 and 2021. But then he's played every game since, so technically he's not played every game since. He missed a game last year. But man, Christian McCaffrey, he's just absolutely unbelievable. There's no way. I'm glazing right now. I do not care. He had a 1,000 season in 2019, and last year he ran for 1,400 yards, and he also caught for 500 yards. He also had 2,000 scrimmage yards and 21 scrimmage touchdowns, 3 fumbles, which, but when you put up production like that, it does not matter, man. He's an absolute beast, and there's no way about it. He's definitely the best running back in football. He does have help, though. He has, one of the best coaches in the NFL, one of the best schemes, one of the best run blocking offenses. His receivers blocks, his offensive line blocks very well. His tight ends block very well. George Kittle is one of the best blocking tight ends in the NFL, probably the best blocking tight end in the NFL, which has to help him out. And he is very quick, elusive. He has great hands. He's just the full package, man. He's powerful. He's willing to take, the 3-yard rushes because he knows later in the game that'll be 6 and 7 yards. He's a beast, man. And when he gets green grass, it's over. You are not catching him. He's an absolute tank, man. And Christian McCaffrey is number 1 on our list. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to sub. It really would mean a lot to me. Make sure to like the video. Leave any comments down below. And I really appreciate it, guys. You guys are the best. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you guys so much, man. I really am grateful to make videos for y'all. It makes my day, and I'm just so happy to do this, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. I hope I see you guys again, and if you guys don't, best luck in your lives. But if not, I'll see you guys in the next one.